So I was asked here to tell you examples from real life. So before it was like a play life, but now it's real life experience. So my experience in the accounting is from 1992 already. And throughout this time, I've seen everything. I have even managed to end up in an accounting room of the restaurant Gloria of my friend's grandma at the time when they had these big ledgers and they followed the numbers with the ruler. So we don't have such things anymore. Our journey, however, it began from a regular thing, how to get rid of paper. We had many such customers who brought us every month a bag full of papers. At some point, I understood that I'm just buying more shelves and cupboards to my office, so I realized that we had to do something about it. In addition to that, I had this great collection rounds. I went to the customers every week, once a week, to collect these documents, which on the one hand was positive because you got to communicate with your client. Now, as a result of digitalization, the customer has become distant from you, and you might meet them on the street and don't even know that they've been your customer for 10 years. I haven't seen one of them for 10 years, for example, and wouldn't even recognize them on the street. So maybe that's kind of a sign that one day when she sees an accountant that she knows, then this client might go to another accountant. The beginning was, as with many in the old world, we had this situation where we had to put out fires. So when I started my office, I was alone. I remember when the days preceding to the turnover declaration, I had a bunch of purchase and sales invoice. I just calculated it to get the declarations done and thought that if these are done, then next 2 weeks I managed to go through this amount of bank statements as well that I had. Then it appeared that something has been received by the customer, but they didn't send us invoices and the declaration information was wrong, so it needed to be amended. This gave me an idea that I didn't want to be a person who just does data entry job, so I needed to change something. At first, I hired a help who started to do these bank statements for 20th of the month. In a big picture, it wasn't a good plan, nor it wasn't digitalization nor automation. It was just reducing workload for myself. Why did we decide to why did we decide to change? We were lucky because we had good clients who grew quickly and forced us as well to develop. This is for sure one of the things that has pushed us forward. Otherwise, we would have been lazier. But there are three basic points. First, to be freed of this role of entering data. Job that can be done by the machine shouldn't be done by us anymore. And I'm quite lazy as well, I guess, so this is not the best part of my job to do data entry. It's not the most creative part of. And then clear workflow. From the office's point of view, we have many customers. They all want to send us invoices by mail, Dropbox, Drive. Everyone has their habits. And so these invoices and documents, contracts are everywhere. Today they use one place, tomorrow another. So to find them, it's quite complicated to find all of the cost documents. One of the aims of digitalization is to have a joint system from the office's point of view. Doesn't matter if these are small or big customers. Invoices come in, go out, joint systems. And to have control over your time. In order to have more free time and to be freed of this routine task, And this way we can use the time that was freed up for something else. So this is an actual example of documents brought in by a customer. It wasn't long ago. I'm not sure if it was 2 years ago. Well, sometimes I could find €5 in among these papers. They probably took them from the mm, wallet and then just somehow put the money in the plastic bag. So the accountant had to spend so much time to sort out all of these things that were among the documents, toys, dog food, and so on. So eventually they got invoices that were suitable for the accounting. Customers have not always been receptive. I'm making publicity for Envoice. We have taken into use Envoice mainly. And when we offered it to the customers, they ask, something changes in your work, but I have to start taking photos and sending these invoices somewhere now. So we saw the resistance among our clients, but I encourage you, please push it forward. With this example here, many things are invoiced, things have calmed down, and the client has even agreed to the €5 monthly payment of invoice. And our job is much easier because the client has taken the responsibility that what they send us through invoice, it's correct. They are not sending us, receipts for purchases meant for their children and so on. So we don't have to spend time on sorting out these expenses anymore. Or the invoices get to the system within minutes. We don't even have to go to Envoice today and send them anywhere. We can set everything, all the features, so the standard books receives them automatically. I don't know now if I'm somehow hurting invoices and FinBytes, but we said that AI learns patterns, not just rules. I really hope that they also get to the point where, example of purchasing bananas. If I have the check receipt for purchasing bananas in digitizing, can they understand that this banana is not a snack in the office, which is taxable? And they understand that this is raw materials for a smoothie business. So AI has to not only learn the rule that we give them, but also in the future they should learn to learn from the pattern of the company itself. Selling it to the customer, I recommend to start slowly. At first, I started to send out letters saying, please create invoice. I gave them the address and personal code, and they said, I don't understand. So I recommend making a document with pictures. Click here, send there. It works much better. Otherwise, they start asking, say it's so complicated, especially creative people, designers. They don't want to understand it. Make it clear for them, create the instructions, then they can keep an eye on them and they will accept it. So we actually took 3 important steps. First, digitalization through invoice, then real-time bank information, bank interface. Here, customers were a little bit resistant. They were afraid that we leave with their money once we get access to bank, and you should underline that in the bank you can pick the option of no rights to confirm payments. So we can just import statements, send payments to the bank, but the owner is the one who confirms it, or we don't have any other rights. As a result, bank information that moves at night, there's free versions of bank interfaces. Use this if you don't need real-time information for smaller companies, for example. Every night, the previous day transactions come in from the bank. You can set it up in books according to transactions. Once again, companies that have a lot of bank card transactions, how do you separate them? You set it up in books. They go to an intermediary account. At the end of the month, you check whether the invoices are there or not and send out the invoices if needed. All of the receipts, payments come in automatically. I recommend you do it. Of course, the accountant has a control function. Program might not find something if the example is, for example, a small furniture producer. Woman is the one who goes and orders, and man pays for the woman and writes mirror, screws, and joints. These kind of things the program might not understand, and this is where the accountant should check who paid for whom. With apartment unions or any unions, it's the same. Children pay invoices for their parents, and they just write rent, but some person is paying. But 90+% of interfaces work well and simplify your life. Third thing is data exchange. Declarations to the tax authority. Today, the turnover declarations, TSD with extras or are all sent from books. Easy. It's easy. I might need to enter only a few lines. I have maybe 2 people working versus just pushing one button and counting your minutes. And as Lee said, you get 10 to 15 hours per month additional time. Obstacles. From the customer's point of view, losing control. I have received feedback that if I lose the paper and system does something and I don't understand and I don't believe in it, and cash is the only thing that matters, the real thing to me, all of the rest of the world is, so. Then you should try to convince your customer. I have spent hours on the phone, and since you want to simplify your work, then spending 1 hour on the phone with your customer pays off. Here on the solutions, it's a wrong sentence, but solution is an honest communication with your customer. And previously, speaker from Hansa Group said that they didn't like transparency. I wanted to use this word, but maybe what's better is clear reports so that they would understand what is going on. A second fear, as an office, I'm talking about the accountant's fear in front of automation, is that they lose their jobs. A machine takes over. I think that this shouldn't be feared. There will be new clients, much better fees as well. The biggest obstacle, old habits. Several times already mentioned today. We have done it so all the time. I'll continue. It's faster. I'll do it on some other day. But this other day will never be there. It's like with the diet keeping. Solutions, small steps, small success stories. And if you see from one customer that your workload reduces, your life becomes more convenient, you get the motivation as well to continue. Today, we don't have everything automated today, nor digitized, but a lot of work has been done. And we have a lot of experience now. When we look at the time spent on customers, we have written down how much time is spent for each customer. We can see that time has reduced those who have interfaces and setups done, and the number is quite big. Depending on the company, I don't know the exact ones now, but a small one, for example, who asked if something changed. On average, we used to spend 6 hours per month. Now it's 4 hours, so altogether it's a lot of hours. And as a result, an accountant, instead of being a data entry specialist, they can become a consultant. Maybe someone wants to do data entry. It's okay as well. In our office, as I said, tasks that can be done by machine, a human being shouldn't do. You can't make any decisions based on the past. This is good to say in hindsight that, okay, it was a good month. If you have time from the data entry, then you can offer more wider services to your client, consulting, cash flow reports, financial analysis. Customer will start to trust you. You can expand your services, which will also be more expensive services than just data entry. So you can see the development possibilities based on our own experience. There are customers for whom we plan cash flows based on real-time data. And why excellent books? A little bit of advertisement for them. I have used Hansarama, Old Hansa, Hansa Finance since I became an accountant. It's my favorite tool, although we use others as well. Excellent books is like an ecosystem for us. It's like it has a lot of opportunities. Full software, not just accounting program. It has a full software for economic activities, flexibility, our ways of working, configuration of reports. We can create reports. I gave an example for statistics. We generate reports based on financial data. You can just use this data and create whatever statistics you need. Integrations are there. And thanks to the portal, which has been developed a lot, manager or CEO has the opportunity to follow real-time data of their company. You have visual graphs. Books, in this sense, is a really great tool for us. As I said previously, we are our journey is still ongoing. AI is developing from books. There are new modules. So the journey is continuing. But I encourage you all to start with this, even if it's just with one client. Just take this one step. And once you get the feeling that it has changed your use of time so much, so that instead of just doing data entry, you can go and have a class somewhere. And don't leave it for tomorrow. I don't have much to say. Just start with it. If you postpone it, then nothing will change. You will just continue postponing until you lose your customer, because they will find someone who says that everything is digitalized and the prices may be the same, but everything goes much smoother and faster. Thank you. Indeed, I saw among the audience discussion about drinking cognac, and well, you can go and have a coffee as well instead of it with the time you have freed up. When I listened to you, I actually thought that we're all looking for finnovation, we could say. Not bad, isn't it? Finnovation. It's a new word, isn't it? At the same time, I understand that this gift from your customer, it's also kind of show of, of love, because they share their lives. You had receipts about a lot of stuff. You can know a lot from their life. What have you found? Well, preservatives. Someone has just taken a shoe box and, well, you said preservative. Don't say it if you don't ask. Yes, actually, in a package, I hope. Yes. Well, it was a hint to the accountant to protect yourself. But anyway, now I was thinking about it. In my opinion, you shouldn't be afraid of losing your client who you haven't seen for 10 years. No, I'm not afraid of it. Well, the client doesn't actually want to have an accountant who is someone they know, because clearly this is a person who doesn't want to talk to their accountant. They write to me. Yes, this is what they want to do with people they know, with their friends they want to discuss. They don't want to discuss accounting issues with their friends. So these practical things were said. Now let's continue with the questions I received. I had really good questions. The screen just froze for a second. But the first question regarded probably regards more your experience. You described how long you have worked in your company, and there have been people who have similar ideas as you. But when this, click or this understanding happens, where the accountant, instead of being a data entry person, becomes a consultant who supports the client, maybe in written form, not in oral form, but this is a specific change. Yes, but with our example, it didn't take place immediately. It happened because I had the time instead of data entry, and I had actually the time to look at the customer reports, because otherwise you're in a hurry. You just have to present the declaration and you don't spend more time into it. But then you have time to look into it diagonally, and maybe I've noticed many things. You start to notice how things could be better, and you can give feedback to your customer who starts to trust you more, and they will ask, would you advise me with this or that? So it doesn't happen suddenly. But now when you think about your colleagues, people with whom you work together, I think it's the same. It's not that yesterday I was doing data entry and today I'm a financial advisor. No, colleagues, they get to know companies. We have what is general is that everyone is openly communicating. And if you see something, you can say it directly to your customer. You can say that something is wrong, or maybe it's not wrong, it just could be done a little bit better. And maybe they have done something better than the client didn't even notice. It could be whatever. Do customers look forward to this consulting? Yes, now they do want it. They are more interested in how their business is doing. And I have had a moment where small customers previously just did accounting to tax office, and they call and said, bank asks balance sheet, but what is this annual report or balance sheet? Maybe it was a control question to you to understand if you have a good company. Good old measure to establish if you're a good accountant or not. Yes, but we have to give feedback to the customer. I think it's a really good part of the service, an important part of our service. I checked your homepage and I really like this general menu that it contained clearly AI. You have the reference link to it, and you have, I think it was a notebook LM, different documents. And if a person has a Google account, can go there. You don't have to have anything. You can access everyone can access it. Yes, but if I had my own account, I could get answers downloaded directly to my data systems. Has this given you something additional with your clients? Because yes, you have spent time for this. I don't know how you did it. Did you check the files? Does it give you good answers? If it does give answers, then in a specified context, the files are real or good. What benefit has it given to Flow Finance? It has for sure benefited. We have even one excellent book's instructions collection. It works the same way. You ask question and it answers as if it were AI. It just doesn't show you where this word was seen, but it gives you the answers. And we direct our customers to this. It gives you answers. And NoTLM was done so that the AI wouldn't just deviate too much. It has spokes that they have to let's say that they have to follow the set up rules, so it should give you the right answers. Okay, you might want to check it out. Can you hold my microphone? What should I ask? What is the VAT in Estonia, for example? Easy question, but value-added tax in Estonia. It's checking uploads, reading input. Maybe it says no VAT. Checking content, consult with sources. Yesterday, it was really funny. It said that giving a correct answer to the customer, or, well, it's a big answer. It's a long answer. It understood that we were talking about the balance sheet, and maybe the program thought they had to give you a longer answer, 24%. So yeah, it gives a right answer. I really felt relieved now. Yes, all of the answers might not be correct, maybe. But it managed well. So thank you very much, Katri. Thank you.